Hi, this is Ted Kelly with another Ted's Hospitality Minute. Hey, today we've got an awesome guest. His name is Richard Ebright. He is the general manager of Margaritaville Resorts in Gatlinburg. And cue it up. The Jimmy Buffett song's about to start playing. No, just kidding. Well, Richard, welcome aboard. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Hey, thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. Obviously, we want to learn a lot about Margaritaville, Gatlinburg. So before we do that, tell me a little bit about you and how you got to Gatlinburg, your hospitality trek, and kind of how it all got to where it is today.
All right. Hey, it's the classic story of working my way up through the industry. I grew up out in Arizona. Got into the hospitality business out there in resorts and things like that. And from there, I just kept climbing the ladder, moving up, taking different roles that took me across the country, from Arizona to Texas to Oklahoma, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, most recently Atlanta, and then now up here in Tennessee again. It's my second stint. I was over in Nashville once before, but now call Gatlinburg and Sevierville County home.
Wow, that's awesome. So do this for me. Tell me a little bit about the Margaritaville brand. I know I've heard about it. I know there's talks about it. How many actual hotels are there? And I don't know why I kind of always want to put them in the Florida coastline. So to hear that you've got one in Tennessee kind of puts it in a whole different geographic footprint for me. So talk a little bit about the brand itself.
Absolutely. So the brand is awesome. When I joined 3 years ago, they had about 12 properties that they were working with. Obviously, Margaritaville, everyone knows the song. Jimmy Buffett background. It started out as a restaurant company, and then they started venturing into the hotels and hospitality side. And it has just exploded for them. The brand is just going everywhere. We're down in the Caribbean. They just started some production over on the West Coast. Big one in New York City. So the brand, the whole fun and escapism with the brand is just it's awesome. I found a brand for life, I guess, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah. So now with your hospitality experience, what do you think really kind of separates the Margaritaville theme from, say, some of the other hotel brands that you've worked with?
Life experience. It's just that they engulf you in everything. So every property that you go to really follows the Jimmy Buffett lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's laid back, it's relaxed, it's fun, it's music driven, it's sensory driven.
Yeah.
Our property in particular, we're sitting in the middle of the mountains, and when you walk through our front doors, you feel like you've been transported down to the Caribbean. So there's just the decor and the way the rooms are made up and the colors and everything, and it really fits. It's just it's something different for Gatlinburg, and it's taken off. And people like it, and we have been so successful since opening our doors. And there's actually 3 other Margaritavilles in the state of Tennessee. So there's one in Nashville, and we have 2 other sister properties that are just about a few miles from us. And then new is an RV park, which is also pretty exciting. So the brand itself is just venturing out. Retirement communities, the merchandising alone has just exploded.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just a fun brand. It's meant to be fun.
I was going to say, now that is so interesting, because the hotel industry has just exploded with so many new brands and so many different segments that's catering to this and that. So I think it's awesome. And I love that kind of laid back theme and the kind of beach feel. So that goes right along with the Margaritaville name. So how have you guys done, say, the last 2 years through the pandemic? Was that a tough stretch for you? Were you slow? Were you, going like gangbusters? How was the pandemic for you?
So in the beginning, we did close. It affected everybody. So we had about a 4-week closure. And then when we reopened, it just went hog wild. While the rest of the country was being challenged, and your tier one cities were having a hard time getting customers back, and coastal properties were hard. Cruise lines were down. The drive market, I think, is where we capitalized. Being centrally located here in the east half of Tennessee, we are land bound, so we're within driving distance with a majority of the East Coast, which is fantastic. And I think they all came to Gatlinburg. The Great Smoky Mountains and the national park here is one of the busiest national parks in the country. 14 to 15 million annual visitors a year. And that's right at our doorstep. So they got to come right through our little 4-lane city to get there. So that attracted a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because you couldn't be indoors, so people wanted to be outdoors.
Yeah.
I think that part of the attraction was great. There's so much to do in the county. Come see the Smokies. It's beautiful right now.
Right.
And we're just having a great time.
Yeah, that is awesome. So your brief closure really was kind of probably, I think probably just a pinch of the sand for what everybody else was seeing, because it sounds like you came back after your little closure and you went off the chart.
We really
occupancy
did.
levels just.
Give you an example. We made we beat our annual budget in 10 months instead of 12. So if that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
For 8 weeks and we still exceeded our budget. And then we did it again the next year. I mean, we ran 92% occupancy last year. I mean, just on the year. So that just gives you an idea of the volume and the heads and beds that we saw at our property. So
yeah, I could think of a few folks that would like to have those kind of numbers at their hotel. So that is awesome. Did you guys have a problem finding folks that wanted to work during that period at all? Or are you guys having that challenge now? I know a lot of folks are having challenges with labor and finding good folks to work.
Yeah, it has been a real challenge for us in our market. The whole Sevierville area, there are so many restaurants and hotels and attractions and everything. And, the sad part is we just don't have enough employees, period. Through the pandemic, I think the entire hospitality industry really suffered because so many folks left the industry and found other viable employment, whether working from home or other industries. And that's affected us across the country, right? And for us, it was having to supplement by, using J1 workers, H2Bs, things like that for our area. And it's helped, but it's certainly a challenge. And having that turnover consistently from season to season creates its own challenges in that. So additionally, what we try to do is really try to focus on our long-term employees and developing in-house. So really trying to grow our own managers and supervisors, because in our market, we don't have a lot of pool to pick from. So it's really important that we do that and create those management training opportunities for our team members, as well as internships.
Did you guys find that you had to start offering additional incentives to get those employees, like, we'll help you, have a flexible work schedule, or we'll help you go to school or pay for some of your school if you do certain things? Did you guys find that you had to kind of ante up with some additional creative things to try to get the employees that you wanted and to try to keep the ones that you had, I guess?
Yes, absolutely. So, we had to up our ante from just the salary standpoint. It became a bidding war in our market, really. You know what I mean? So I think wages probably in our area grew faster than others within the bigger cities and stuff near us, Knoxville, Nashville, things of that nature. So bringing that together, along with trying to find every other incentive that we could think of. We parking is a premium in our market, so we decided that we were going to pick up parking for all of our staff members and stuff. So that was something new, because there is paid parking, And so if you buy a monthly pass, it was a little bit cheaper. So that's one of the things, you know, we worked with our ownership and stuff and worked that in to part of their benefits and stuff. So it worked out good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's amazing how those little, perks,
Yeah.
essentially can help you kind of retain, or somebody might say, hey, what about this? Have you thought about that? And a lot of times the employees have some really good ideas,
Mhm.
regarding little things you could do to try to keep or retain or attract, new worker bees. So that's excellent. So in spite of all of that, you're sitting on top of the Smokies. You got this great Margaritaville beach, Jimmy Buffett feel to it. Everybody comes in there and they automatically go like, this is great. And then you've actually gotten a few awards for this.
We have. Thank you very much for asking. I always like to brag about our awards. Being a newer property and newer to the brand and stuff. We opened in late 2018, and so for 2019 year and 2020, we picked up the property of the year. So super excited by that, and it's measured with all of the other hotels and business that are within Margaritaville, and they kind of look at different things like the voice of the staff, the voice of the guest, our performance, how we perform in the market and stuff like that.
Right.
For
Right.
2 years in a row, and God, we were this close, Ted, this close to a three-peat. But our sister
Really?
property down in Sevierville actually picked it up, but they beat us by a few points, and congrats to them. But it amazes me that here in the landlocked state of Tennessee, for the first 3 times that they've done this, Tennessee's carrying the trophies.
Wow.
When you think
That-
of some of the properties and where they're located, and the
Yeah.
Florida coast, the Caribbean, and Mexico, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool
Yeah.
accomplishment.
I think that's awesome. And you're doing it during kind of the height of the pandemic, and that's just amazing, man. Kudos
Yep.
to you and your team, man. I think that is so awesome to be recognized like that. And it sounds like you may be still breaking some records up there. I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah, we're doing our best. I mean, we're setting some ADR records. We're setting some total revenue records. I mean, these are really just grading ourselves against ourselves, but it just seems to keep going. We even took this year and figured, okay, this can't continue, right? And I think a lot of the businesses in the industry may have done this, not just our market.
Right. Right.
We actually wrote our budget down a little bit for
Oh,
this
wow.
year. And you probably don't find a lot of businesses saying that, right? But we're trying to be realistic to the industry and really what's happening in the market and stuff like that. So
Right.
we did write it down a little bit, but we've come out of Q1 exceeding that budget and exceeding last year still. So it just hasn't stopped for us. It's super exciting. It's great to have, what I mean? We take on the challenge every day, and it's a good problem to have, right?
So, Richard, tell us how folks can find you so they can come visit your wonderful resort.
Hey, you can find us at margaritaville.com. That's the master website. It's going to list all the hotels, all the properties. You can find us under the resorts, and directly you can find us at Margaritaville Resort Gatlinburg.com. Nice and short, right? But we'd love to see you. Come up and see us in the Smokies.
That's awesome. Thanks again so much, Richard, for giving us a few minutes of your time. This has
Thank
been
you.
another Ted's Hospitality Minute. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.